There's something fishy going on here at the set of FamuTV20 today with Research Fundamentals from the Division of Research, the Office of the Vice President. I'm privileged to be your host, O.S. Lamar, and with me today I'm equally privileged to have all the way from where things are jumping, in Jamaica, shall we say, at least by way of a place that's close to Kingston, and that is St. Thomas, and most recently out of Quincy in terms of coming to us as relates to the farms there that are part of CESTA, the College of Engineering, Sciences, Technology, and Agriculture. And let me just introduce my guest today, Dr. Uford Madden. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Indeed. You have so many roles going on. You know, when I look at just your title alone as relates to food safety and toxicology, and you're being a diplomat certified by the American Board of Toxicology, and specifically what you do research laden. Let me just ask you, if you will, just sort of give us an overview actually of what in fact you do.
Basically now my major research focus with the aquaculture. And at the station we have ponds. Ponds as a production system. And I've designed an integrated system with a recirculation of the water. So we have fish and we have shrimp. The shrimp is out now because of the cold weather. They cannot grow. So, but we still have some bluegills right now in the ponds. We want to use those just for research, but also for teaching. And we have some programs, as we will talk later about, that will come on stream that we want to extend so we can reach the broader community.
Absolutely. We're here at FAMU, of course, committed to teaching or instruction as well as research and that public service. And so as you look at the project, the development of small-scale aquaculture farms in North Florida, tell us about the funding that you've received for that.
Well, I was fortunate to receive funding from our state Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, the Agriculture Division, in the sum of $100,000. And we have been doing now for about 2 years. Now I'm actively seeking additional funding. So anybody who wants to support our program, welcome, and we'll deliver the best we can.
Well, why would someone, say an external agency, want to support you in terms of the research that's being conducted there?
See, aquaculture now, it is believed that it's one of the fastest growing part of the agricultural economy of the United States. And we could say worldwide. And it contributes not only to food production, but to the economy, because some people, this small scale would be how they maintain the livelihood. And with this system, they could be growing fish with, I could say, the unique things that I thought about. We have a lot of water bodies around in the state that are not being utilized. And these small farmers could make use of these systems.
And so as relates to some of the books that you brought with you in terms of your authorship, for example, this one, Agriculture at a Crossroads, International Assessment of Agricultural Knowledge, Science, Technology for Development. You know, speak to that in terms of how does that transfer back to the community in part?
Now, this is a global assessment report, and it was following of a lot of efforts. And what I'm saying following now is we have some things that were done before, like we have the global assessment, the Millennium Report. So this one follows those. And it was assessing what we have been seeing in agriculture and technology in development on a global scale from 1945 to present. And the idea was to see how we can best feed really the countries of the world, and what technology has been applied to agriculture to make us more, in a better way, whether we're small scale or large, being able to feed ourselves. Because, you know, any country or any people who cannot feed themselves are at risk. And right now, in a global scale, we still have hunger. And there's a way to fight hunger worldwide. So these reports will help governments and policymakers in decision making and how they can better utilize all the resources in productivity for the nations of the world.
Indeed, and as an extension food safety specialist yourself, you know, you're piercing my heart as it relates to, you know, people being at risk because they just don't have food to eat, to feed their families with. So what contributions is Florida A&M University and CESTA, the College of Engineering and Sciences, Technology, Agriculture, and you, as it relates to the aquaculture activities, making to help remedy this situation to an extent?
Well, I say my participation in the report was the first step, being able to work with globally with my peers, and we developed this report. Now, if you look at the economic, and the socio-economic, and also the environmental factors, we here at FAMU can impact that greatly. because as an extension, food safety especially, I reach out in the communities. And one of my main idea in serving the people in the communities is not to go and tell them what they need to do, but we know these people have been working for a long time. So what we're trying to do here is to make them be able to do with what they have and even be better doing it. So our role is to guide them, provide the information, and give them technical assistance where necessary, so we can help them to feed themselves and might have a little more for helping others out also.
Absolutely. We are helpers one to another. And I know CESA is very actively engaged as it relates to ongoing research, and it just makes me think in terms of, again, the emphasis on food safety. I know there's been some activity as it relates to the amount of mercury that may be contained in fish, and not so much that's germane to what you're doing over the Quincy farms, but as it relates to fish and it being an essential or at least a part of our diet, of our nutrition. You know, where do we stand with that as a people, as a whole, in terms of us being in a position to eat to live versus just simply living to eat so much and taking better care of our bodies?
Well, with all the food production, whether it be agriculture or otherwise, the first step is on the farm. So if we're be able to produce high quality, good food that are nutritious and wholesome, that's the first start. So we have an obligation, as with agriculture, as with any other product, we have to make sure the quality of the water that we use is the best, free of mercury or other contamination. And as our inputs go in, we are able to produce good product with high value that are nutritious and wholesome for the consumers. And this will contribute to better health. Because if you have the good food, and also we can influence people's behavior in food choices, and the better choices they have is the healthier nation we'll have.
Indeed. We are what we eat, literally.
There we go.
In terms of the fish and shrimp production, we want to get into more detail when we come back after the break. But briefly, you were mentioning that I guess now is not the season for shrimp necessarily.
Right.
So the fish then is in higher productivity?
Fish can grow more and tolerate the cold weather. But with the shrimp, anything falling below 50 degrees normally can be detrimental.
Okay. Well, how do we moderate all of this in terms of, where in fact we're going is what we want to talk about a little bit more when we come back. So we want you to stay around, because here we're all about living smart, quality enhancement plan, and all about Dr. Uford Madden on this segment of Research Fundamentals. So please stay right where you are. Thank you for staying with us for this episode of Research Fundamentals. And here on the set we have all the way from Quincy by way of St. Thomas, and that's near Kingston, Jamaica, a young man who's actively engaged in food safety and productivity and helping us. What is the old saying? I think Dr. Madden alludes to, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, but teach a man to fish, it's for a lifetime. And so the fish productivity going on at Quincy Farms, how is everything moderated, regulated, taught to the farmers, and again going forward?
Now, I can start out by the inception of this project.
Okay.
Because we have the water bodies that I mentioned earlier. And I thought that if we utilize these water bodies, using these small farms, we can be very helpful to them. So what